The summary of the 80/20 Principle, brought to you by Click-Through College. The 80/20 Principle.
Chapter 1 presents a detailed discussion of the 80/20 Principle. Koch starts by tracing the history of the concept to Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto, who noticed that 20% of the pea pods in his garden produced 80% of the peas. He applied this concept to wealth distribution, finding that 80% of the wealth in Italy was owned by 20% of the population. Koch argues that this principle is universal and inherently unbalanced, asserting that it applies to a wide range of situations, far beyond economics. This pattern, where a small proportion of causes generate the majority of results, is seen everywhere. Koch encourages readers to embrace the principle and understand its fundamental value. The goal is to increase personal effectiveness and productivity in all aspects of life by identifying the vital few actions or decisions that yield the most significant results. Corporate success needn't be a mystery. In this chapter, Koch applies the 80/20 principle to the corporate world, explaining how businesses often focus on the wrong areas. He asserts that most corporations waste time, resources, and energy on areas that contribute little to success. Using real-world examples, Koch illustrates how companies frequently direct their attention to the less productive 80% of resources, resulting in limited growth and profits. By identifying and concentrating on the efficient 20%, those products, services, or strategies that yield 80% of the success, companies can significantly increase their efficiency, profitability, and productivity. This chapter serves as a guide to help businesses decipher their own 80/20 patterns and take advantage of the principle.
Hooking the right customers.
Koch moves from the broader corporate view to focusing on customers in Chapter 3. He highlights the idea that not all customers are created equal, with a small proportion often bringing most of a company's profit. By applying the 80/20 principle, businesses can identify the top 20% of customers that are most valuable, those who provide 80% of the revenue. Companies often spread their resources evenly across all customers, which Koch argues is a mistake. Instead, businesses should allocate resources more strategically, focusing on attracting, retaining, and pleasing this top 20% of customers. By doing so, they can significantly boost customer satisfaction and, consequently, profits. The top 10 business uses of the 80/20 principle. This chapter elaborates on the specific applications of the 80/20 rule in various business aspects. Koch introduces 10 key areas where the principle can have a significant impact, including cost reduction, decision-making, project management, marketing, and problem-solving. The author provides detailed examples and actionable tips on how businesses can analyze their operations through the 80/20 lens. The underlying theme is that by identifying the areas where a small portion of efforts, costs, or resources can lead to the majority of the desired results, businesses can greatly enhance their effectiveness and profitability. This chapter serves as a practical guide to using the 80/20 principle in day-to-day business operations. Personal happiness. Just 20% of what we do gives us 80% of our happiness. Koch shifts the focus from business to personal life in Chapter 5. He posits that just like in business, most people spend the majority of their time and energy on activities that contribute minimally to their happiness. Through several examples, Koch illustrates how the 80/20 principle applies to personal happiness. Only a fraction of our activities, about 20%, are responsible for a majority, about 80%, of our joy and satisfaction. By identifying these critical happiness-bringing activities, we can reallocate our time and energy towards what genuinely makes us happy. This chapter is not only about recognizing these activities but also about encouraging readers to engage more in these pursuits to significantly enhance their personal happiness and fulfillment.
Relationships.
In this chapter, Koch discusses the impact of the 80/20 principle on personal and professional relationships. He observes that a small number of our relationships contribute to a majority of our personal growth, happiness, and success. We often spread our time and attention evenly across all relationships, thereby neglecting the significant few that contribute the most to our lives. By identifying these 20% of relationships and investing more time and energy into them, we can improve our overall relational satisfaction and personal growth. The chapter advocates for a more focused and deliberate approach to relationships, emphasizing the need for quality over quantity. Simple is beautiful. Chapter 7 is about the application of the 80-20 principle to the complexity of life. According to Koch, we often clutter our lives with unnecessary commitments, possessions, and activities that contribute little to our overall happiness or success. He argues that the 80-20 principle supports a shift from complexity to simplicity. By focusing on the essential 20% and eliminating the unnecessary 80%, we can streamline our lives, freeing up time, reducing stress, and increasing overall satisfaction. The chapter is a call to declutter, simplify, and focus on the things that truly matter in our personal and professional lives. You can always get what you want. In this chapter, Koch outlines strategies for achieving personal and professional goals using the 80-20 principle. He suggests that we often spread our efforts too thinly across numerous goals, many of which contribute minimally to our overall success and satisfaction. The 80-20 principle, Koch asserts, can help us identify the key 20% of our goals or actions that will deliver 80% of our desired outcomes. By focusing our energy on these critical areas, we can achieve our objectives more efficiently and effectively. This chapter provides practical advice on setting priorities, making decisions, and aligning actions with goals in accordance with the 80-20 principle. With a little help from our friends. Chapter 9 of Koch's book explores how the 80-20 principle can be applied to leverage support from others to achieve personal and professional success. The author proposes that we often underestimate the value of our networks in reaching our objectives. In line with the 80-20 principle, a small proportion of our relationships tend to yield the majority of benefits. By identifying these relationships and nurturing them, we can unlock opportunities, obtain valuable guidance, and gain significant advantages in various life domains. Koch offers practical suggestions on how to identify these vital relationships, nurture them, and leverage them to enhance personal growth and achieve goals. Goodbye to business as usual. In Chapter 10, Koch challenges conventional business practices and approaches that aim to improve all areas of a business equally. He argues that the 80-20 principle reveals a more efficient way of doing business. By focusing on the vital few areas that provide the most value and impact, businesses can achieve more with less. This shift in approach, away from business as usual, allows businesses to innovate, improve productivity, and increase profitability. It underscores the need for businesses to embrace an 80-20 mindset where they strategically invest in areas that offer the most returns. Mega inequality and the 80-20 future. Chapter 11 dives into the societal implications of the 80-20 principle, examining its role in creating and perpetuating inequality. Koch posits that the world is inherently imbalanced, with a small percentage of people producing and earning the majority. He forecasts a future of mega inequality, where this disparity becomes even more pronounced. However, he asserts that understanding and harnessing the power of the 80-20 principle can empower individuals and businesses to thrive in this unbalanced landscape. The chapter emphasizes the need to adapt to this reality, and it presents strategies for doing so effectively. 80-20 and the digital revolution. This chapter explores how the 80-20 principle is reinforced by the digital revolution. Koch argues that the digital age accentuates the principle, with a small fraction of digital content or products accounting for most of the usage or profit. The low cost of digital replication and distribution enables small efforts to result in substantial outcomes. The chapter highlights strategies for thriving in the digital age by identifying and leveraging digital, vital few, opportunities. It also discusses potential challenges and provides tips on navigating the digital landscape with an 80-20 mindset. The vital few give before they get. Chapter 13 presents the importance of generosity in the context of the 80-20 principle. Koch suggests that giving often precedes receiving, especially in the context of this principle. Those who contribute the most value often reap the greatest rewards, echoing the vital few concept. By giving generously, be it time, resources, or knowledge, we can establish ourselves as part of the productive 20%, which reaps the majority of benefits. Koch urges individuals and businesses to adopt a mindset of abundant giving, stating that this generosity can pave the way for subsequent success and rewards. The chapter serves as a compelling call to action to shift from a mentality of scarcity to one of abundance. Being free with time. In this chapter, Koch delves into the concept of time management through the lens of the 80-20 principle. He argues that traditional time management strategies often revolve around cramming more tasks into less time, a method he considers inefficient and stressful. Instead, the 80-20 principle suggests identifying and focusing on the 20% of tasks that lead to 80% of productivity or results. By doing so, individuals can free up time, reduce stress, and improve overall life satisfaction. Koch offers practical advice on how to identify these high-impact tasks and how to allocate time effectively to enjoy both productivity and leisure. You can have it all. In the concluding chapter of the book, Koch counters potential criticisms of the 80-20 principle. Some might argue that the principle is ruthless, promoting an imbalanced focus on efficiency and results. However, Koch argues that the principle isn't about sacrificing everything else for the sake of the top 20%. Instead, it's about recognizing that by focusing on the significant 20%, we can, in fact, achieve more with less stress and effort. It's a path to achieving higher productivity, success, and satisfaction in both our personal and professional lives. Koch ends by inspiring readers to embrace the 80-20 principle, not just as a tool, but as a way of life. The summary of the 80-20 principle.